up in the morning, I got money on my mind. So addicted to it, all I see is dollar signs. Thankful to the Lord, he let me make it through the night. So dead or alive, I'ma go and get what's mine. Everyone that pulled me back, I had to leave behind.
Hey, what's up guys? It is your boy Steezy once again, and we are back with another fresh episode of #Focus Fridays. We are back as if we never left, and we are back with the 10th edition of Focus Fridays. You already know what it is. We made it thus far. Shout out to everybody who has been watching our videos for all the last 10 weeks. Well, I've missed a few weeks there and there, but thank you to everybody who's been watching our 10 episodes, and shout out to everybody who is watching this right now and saying, yeah, we made it. Anyway, shout out to you guys, and shout out to the new subscribers, the new viewers. If you're viewing this for the first time, well, welcome to Focus Fridays, and it is your boy Steezy once again. I hope you enjoy the journey, and I hope you click that subscribe button. But before we get down into business, we're talking about that subscribe button. I'd like you to click that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so that you get that notification every time we release an episode. In any case, now let's get down to business. But before we get down to business, anyway, today it's a fight night day. You know, we're talking about two different artists. We are talking about Duke Deep. Yeah. For those who listen to Duke Deep's mixes, we're talking about Duke Deep, and we're gonna get into the other artist, the surprise artist, a little bit later in the episode. But I'm talking about Duke Deep this week, and the first artist I'm talking about is Duke Deep. And well, Duke Deep for me, he's well, before we get down into that, he's a DJ, you know, mixed DJ type of thing. For those who follow him, they know he's doing this part tape mixes these days, which are kind of like out of this world, you know. He's a DJ, a really great house DJ, and one of my friends would like to say most of the time, he says he's the next Black Coffee, and I don't believe he's the next Black Coffee, to be quite honest, because I think being the next Black Coffee is like setting a limitation for what he's presenting, you know. And I don't think he's the next Black Coffee. In my opinion, I think he's actually the next biggest DJ, you know, a person who might be bigger than Black Coffee. That all depends on how he thinks. But why I chose to talk about Duke Deep today was like, he's actually a great DJ, man. Besides the fact that he's a great DJ, he knows what he's doing, and he knows exactly what he's about. Duke Deep is a type of DJ who's quite conceptual in what he does. He knows what he's doing, you know what I mean? And for me, my first experience with Duke Deep was like really memorable, you know. And I think I remember this was in, if I'm not mistaken, 2016 or 2017, somewhere along those lines. One of my schoolmates / classmates were listening to a certain mix at the time. You know, I was new to the school, but they were listening to a certain mix by a certain DJ. His name is Duke Deep, you know. And funny enough, when I listened for the first time, I couldn't stop listening to this mix, you know. It's called if I'm not mistaken, the Deep House mix, something like that. You know, it's a mix by Duke Deep, you know. It's got some really nice ass mixes out there, and she put some really nice tracks in there. So I listened to that mix for the first time, and I remember asking myself, who the hell is this? And I remember thinking, it's probably a DJ in South Africa. And then they're like, it's Duke Deep, you know. No one actually clarified to me who he exactly is. And then a few years down the line, basically last year down the line, 2020, I'm starting to do interviews and stuff like that. Next thing, come across Duke Deep once again, you know. And, you know, one of my guys, Mzwandile, the executives, told me about him. He's like, this Duke Deep. This Duke Deep. And sorry about that. He's like, this Duke Deep. And I'm like, who's Duke Deep? And I remember, it's that guy with that nice ass mix that we used to listen to in high school, you know. And funny enough, it was like, now I can probably get an interview, you know. And for me, it was like, okay, let me try do something with him. And yeah, only to find that he only started the pot tapes where he puts out a mix. I think it was a weekly type of thing, each week, which was kind of dope. And for me, it was like, yo, let me get an interview. Well, I'm still trying to interview him till this day, and I still couldn't get that interview till today. But for me, what was most important, or what stood out for me, was how he basically is a mixed DJ, you know, and he's comfortable with it, you know. And most of the time you find most DJs only finding themselves in a space where they are playing or they are mixing the type of tracks that are probably played in gigs, you know. And Duke Deep is not like that, you know what I mean. And he doesn't only mix in gigs, he plays in different types of spaces, you know. He plays on the internet, he can play in gigs or whatever. But what I like about him mostly is his difference, you know. He's got something that sets him apart from other DJs, you know. He's got that something that sets him apart from from basically other mixed DJs, you know what I mean. And for me, it's how he puts together the track. He puts the tracks together when he mixes or when he does his thing, you know what I mean. And for me, it's like he basically has this, I mean, house tracks that he puts into his mixes. I mean, that's obvious. But then what's mostly accredited, or what I mostly love about him, is how he goes on from house to Afro house, you know, that type of vibes, that those international vibes, basically, you know what I mean. And that's how he does his thing. That's how I love him doing his thing. And how he goes from localized type of mixes to international type of mixes is kind of dope, because that's when I kind of realized what Zwandile said to me that day. He was like, this guy is the next Black Coffee, you know. At first I was like, this nigga crazy, next Black Coffee. That was before I started really doing some research into him. And when I really started doing some research, I found out, okay, this guy may be onto something, you know. And when I found out about that, I was just like, wow, that's dope, you know. Especially when you find an artist in a space or position where he's now making the type of mixes that are international, making the type of mixes that can be played on a worldwide scale, you know what I mean. And that's how he does his thing, and that's how I fell in love with him, you know. And for me, basically, I can't even really go deeper into detail on how he, you know, released what he released, or how I feel about his mixes. I mean, you already know how I feel about his mixes, so all you can do is just go to Dig Deep, click on the link on his bio on Instagram. It's Deep Kid or Duke Deep, whatever, on Instagram. Sorry, I'm gonna write it down. Okay, I'm short of memory, but anyway, I'm gonna write that down. But yeah, go click any link you can click on. Go listen and dig deep. You know, he's not only a deep house DJ. I mean, that's one thing people seem to mistake these days, is to think that most DJs are deep house DJs and they deserve to stay in that type of space. And I don't think he does. I think he has a lot more to present than what he's already put out, which is kind of dope, you know, which is kind of really dope. So I'ma commend him for that, you know. And yeah, I really, really, really fell in love with his music and what he does, and, you know, the type of music he puts out there for you to listen to. But yeah, all you need to do is just go click that link and subtune to the vibes, because I mean, that is probably the biggest DJ that's about to come for this world. Anyway, to move right along, another next piece of focus for this Focus Fridays episode is a guy called Smakile Wagangwane. Smakile Dlamini goes by the name DJ SMK. I mean, a lot of people would know how I feel about him, how I feel about what he releases. Basically, I'm not only talking about DJ SMK because he's probably a great DJ, you know. I mean, I mean, I'm sure he also knows that himself, that yo, I'm a great DJ, I know exactly what I'm doing, so I can't really say I'm talking about him because he's a great DJ. I mean, that's what he already knows, right? So I'm talking about DJ SMK this week because for the simple reason, because well, he's released some great music, some great mixes as well, which were like kind of dope. And what I really listen to from him kind of stems from the fact that I listen to him because he's so passionate, and especially watching someone, like literally watching him make beats and do his thing is kind of dope, and beyond that, he's kind of like an overly and great person, and his passion really is not as big as he wants to be. That's the truth, but what he's put out so far is phenomenal, and the passion and the potential he shows is kind of great. That's why I even decided to talk about him, because he's got potential. He's got potential. He's already shown little bits of pieces of that potential in his music, which you can kind of listen to, and you can actually feel that this guy is coming onto something, and he's got more to bring out other than what he's already bringing out in that certain track that he's putting out. So for me, it's like he knows what he's doing. He knows how he's basically forming his storyline in the tracks he's putting out. He knows what he's doing. And for me, the type of passion he does, especially when it comes to Amapiano, a lot of people know that I don't really listen to house, but Amapiano, I can get down and listen to Amapiano anytime, which is like kind of what he does really nice. And in fact, I remember the first time I had an experience with Amapiano, I think we're listening to Semi T, Labantwana Mauba, and I remember he was playing that track, DJ SMK, and when he was playing it, I got interested. I'm like, what genre is this? Because I think that was the days where Chrome was still a bit mainstream. So I was like, what the hell is this? Because I never actually liked Chrome, to be quite honest. Chrome was just kind of like really whack. So when I listened to that track, I was just like, okay, what is this guy doing? And when he put it out there like that, I was like, okay, all right, let me give it a listen. And as soon as I heard that he's got some things out, he's got some tracks out that he's put out for himself and for you guys to listen to on SoundCloud, I kind of like got into a point in my life where I was like, wow, I really love my piano, But anyway, moving right along, I'm saying what I was trying to say there was like, he basically put out the type of songs where you can literally fall in love with the genre he's putting out, basically, and the genre he's put out was kind of really lit. It's Amapiano. He made me really hella interested in Amapiano, and I think that's the effect he had on me. That's the effect he has on me that I feel like I need to share with you guys, that this guy is not only good and conceptual in what he does in the tracks he puts together, the house tracks he puts together. He's not only conceptual about that, he knows what he's doing. You know what I mean? And he knows what he's doing so far to the point where he can get you interested with just one track or one mix and you're done for. You are interested, you're hooked. I'm literally hooked to what he does. You know what I mean? And what saddens me is that I'm not usually on SoundCloud to mostly listen to his songs all the time. But when I do get the chance to be on SoundCloud, I'm always there to be like, oh yeah, I gotta listen to this guy and just search DJ SMK real quick. And I think that's the effect he always had on me, and I think that's what he's always done to my interest of listening to the Amapiano genre and listening to what he does and what he puts out there. So I think that's kind of dope. But anyway, for me, before I get down into detail on more what I'm talking about, just do click that link in the bio. go to DJ SMK, click the link in his bio, go to smakile_agangwane on his Instagram, and do some tune to the vibes as well. Anyway, it is your boy Steezy, and I think that is it for this episode. Do make sure to click that subscribe button, hit that notification bell to make sure that you catch the next episode next week. It's episode 10, and from episode 10 up until the end, well, up until there's no end, basically, you subtune to the vibes. And yeah, we're gonna be bringing more different concepts to Focus Fridays, and today was kind of like out of my comfort zone, and talking about two different artists in a different environment as well was just kind of like out of my comfort zone. So we're still trying to explore this Focus Fridays, so do make sure to click the link in our bio, do make sure to subscribe, hit that notification bell so that you get that notification every time we release the newest, freshest episode, because and we are back and we are getting better. So do make sure to watch the growth and enjoy the journey. Anyway, it is your boy Steezy once again.